Hi everybody, I'm going to teach you how to make grilled cheese. I've done lots of experimenting with lots of different ways to make it, so now I'm going to share all that. We're going to start with the bread. This is homemade bread. It's a homemade sandwich bread. It's a no-knead recipe. It's pretty simple to make and it makes excellent grilled cheese. Ironically, it doesn't make very good sandwiches that are not grilled cheese, but it makes great grilled cheese. Then we're going to get a pan out and we're going to heat it up. I like this nice flat pan. It's heavy. It's great, especially if you're going to make more than one grilled cheese. And I'm going to put it over medium-low heat. You want medium-low heat because you want to give time for the outside of it to get nice and crunchy, but also have the cheese on the inside being melty and delicious. While the pan's heating up, I'm going to actually put the inside of the bread down and let it warm up. That's going to help the cheese melt. And then we're going to move on to the butter and the cheese. I like to use really good butter because there's not many ingredients in a grilled cheese, and you want to taste them so that butter has nice fat in it. And then I like American cheese. American cheese is the classic. It melts really well. When you think of a grilled cheese, that's kind of what you think of. Now we're going to put a lot of butter on this, and you may think you know what a lot of butter means, but I don't think you really do, and that's really the secret to this. Butter tastes good. It's one of the inescapable facts of life. You put butter on something and it tastes better. You put a lot of butter on something and it tastes even better. So we're going to put a lot of it on here. Some of it's going to stay on the pan or kind of roll away from the sandwich as it melts, but a lot of it's going to stay on here and give us that nice crispy crust that we're looking for. Some people will tell you not to use butter, to use mayonnaise instead. Those people are misguided individuals. Mayonnaise does not taste like butter. It might get really crispy, but it's not going to taste like butter. And when you have a grilled cheese, since you only have a few ingredients, you want to taste them all. You want to get that taste of the butter with the taste of the cheese and really good bread. So I'm going to finish putting a lot of butter on here, and you'll see that really does look like a lot. It's pretty well covered, and by the time it melts and we slide it around a little bit, every surface of the bread is going to get covered. Now the next thing I'm going to put on here might be a little bit surprising. This is salted butter, but I like to add just a little bit more salt on top of it. That really just kind of makes everything taste better. It makes the butter taste more like butter. It makes the bread taste more like bread. Don't need a whole lot, just a little bit. Then we're going to move on to the cheese. Now, once you start to see the butter start to melt, that means the top of the bread is starting to get warm, which means the bottom of the bread is nice and warm. So we're going to flip over one side of the bread. I'll do it in a minute. I forgot to get the cheese out, so it's going to take me a second to get the cheese ready to go. There we go. Now we're going to flip over one side of the bread, and we're going to put our cheese on. Lots of cheese. If it's not kind of melting out the sides of it, then you're not doing the right thing. Grilled cheeses have to have lots of cheese on them, but we don't want it hanging all down the pan, so we'll tear a little bit off and stick it on top. Maybe just a little bit more cheese. Yeah, that looks like it's probably good. And then we're going to go ahead and stick that piece on top so we have a nice assembled sandwich. Kind of move it into the middle, which is the hottest part of the pan. Then we have to be really patient because we're cooking this at a relatively low temperature. It's going to take a while. But that's okay. Don't walk away from it though. We're going to flip it a couple times to make sure it gets evenly browned on both sides. Look at those nice little bubbles. All that butter is melting and sizzling, and what that's doing is making nice crispy bread. So we're going to flip it over once. You'll see it's not quite ready yet. It's getting a little bit golden brown, but we want a nice golden brown, and the cheese hasn't really melted all the way yet. So we're going to we're going to end up flipping it a couple times back and forth. We're going to take this into high speed mode because it really does take a few minutes to get it nice and golden brown on all the sides. And see all that cheese kind of melting out? That's the best part of grilled cheese in my opinion. When you get that little bit of melty cheese coming down over the crust. Let's get nice and golden brown. We're almost there. We're going to give it just another couple minutes. There we go. Now, you can cut it two ways, right? You can cut it so you're left with rectangles. You can cut it so you're left with triangles. I like triangles. I like getting those pointy end pieces. They taste delicious. And then when you're done, just kind of push it all back together. Let the cheese, as the cheese cools, it'll hold the sandwich together. And that's it. That is a delicious grilled cheese.